So one of the things that people don't realize, and it's so fucking important, man, Islamic extremism, really any kind of extremism, any kind of radicalization, it's really predictable. It's not that different from radicalized drug dealers or radicalized zealot Christians or radicalized anything, right? When you take somebody coming from a poverty-stricken background where they've been disadvantaged, and then you give them a common enemy, and then you give them some sort of support, like whether it's a community, especially if it's a community and some kind of a job, right? Because that's really what most extremists are. They're just looking for a job. Most of ISIS is just poor, ignorant people who happen to believe in Islam, who also got a job opportunity to work for ISIS, and they're stupid enough because they're uneducated and they grew up poverty stricken, right? They're stupid enough to believe that they have to like sign a contract and swear this kind of crazy allegiance to ISIS, but then they get a steady job, they get a steady paycheck, they get to pillage, they get to rape, they get to do whatever they want to do. And to an ignorant person with no hope, no future, no background, no education, that's a good deal. Most of the extremist world is not intelligence, strategy driven, well-educated, like committed soldiers. That's not what most extremists are. They are desperate, poverty-stricken, ignorant people who just die for a cause because they're trying to make it day to day.
Yeah. So East Asia is facilitating this stuff. So you were there to like collect information, figure out where they're doing the training, everything else like that. Let's say you identified, you had your sources and, they're like, hey, look, we have information that this group is training here in Laos, right? There's this group of radical extremists and they're training here. What would the next step be from there?
So now what you're getting into is operational tradecraft.
There you go. Yeah.
Which is classified
in
a lot of different ways, right? But to give you an answer, you're always looking for a source of information. That source of information might be a human, it might be a computer, it might be a laptop, it might be a listening post or a bug, right? You're looking for a source of information that yields relevant, secret, classified, or confidential data that can advance national security interests within an established requirement that was dictated by the chief executive, the president, right? So it's a shell game of, does this information about the rice trade meet the qualifications of all these different checklist items?
Of course.
If it doesn't, you have to throw it out the window and go back and try to get something else.